Good morning. So, if you pay attention to me, which means the front part of your brain is working, and I can touch your emotional brain, so you remember what I say, for the next 40 minutes we're going to have fun. What we do in our clinics, I'm a psychiatrist, but an unusual one, as I'm sure many of you are for your disciplines. I think we should be looking at the brain. You know, psychiatrists are the only medical doctors that never look at the organ they treat. Sounds a little crazy to me. So let me start by telling you a story. These are two SPECT scans. The one on the left is a healthy scan. The one on the right is a man who failed marital therapy. Now, how do you fail marital therapy? Well, he went for 3 years, spent about $25,000, and at the end of 3 years, the therapist told them to get divorced. So that's like giving them an F. And they didn't want to be divorced. They had gone for 3 years. And the therapist got nervous when they were upset with her, and she said, well, I know a doctor in Newport Beach, California, that takes care of really difficult people. Maybe you should go see him. And as is our practice, we look at the brain before we make diagnoses. And so we scan the husband and the wife. And when I looked at the husband's brain, it looked like a drug-affected brain. This is a brain that looks toxic. But in his history, he said he'd never used drugs. And he didn't drink. Now, I've been a psychiatrist for 27 years. And the first thing you learn about drug addicts is what? Is they lie. They lie a lot. And so in front of his wife, I said, is that really true? You don't drink. You haven't used drugs. And he said, Dr. Amen, I have many problems. But that's not it. And his wife was there, so I said, is he telling me the truth? And she said, oh, yes, Dr. Amen, he doesn't drink. He's never done drugs. He's just an asshole. And I chuckled, but in my mind I went, then why does his brain look so bad? And I went through the differential diagnosis in my head: drugs, alcohol, an environmental toxin, a near-drowning event, a brain infection, his medication. And my next question to him was, where do you work? And he said, I work in a furniture factory. I said, what do you do? He said, I finish furniture all day long. He was doing drugs. In fact, he was doing the worst drug of abuse, which is inhaling organic solvents. So then I looked to the wife and I said, so when did he become a jerk? She said, what do you mean? I said, did you marry him that way? Do you have father issues that you're trying to work out? And she said, no. When we first got married, he was great. It wasn't until about 5 years ago, and then she put her hand over her mouth and she said, oh my God, it's about the time he started working in the furniture factory that his behavior radically changed. There is no amount of marital therapy that will help this couple until you fix his brain. But that is what is going on across our country every day in therapist's office. People come in feeling sad, mad, nervous, memory problems, and we make psychiatric diagnoses based on symptom clusters without any biological information, and it's just insane. We need to do a better job. So I have a brand new book called Magnificent Mind at Any Age. It's based on the principles that we use at the Amen clinics. I can't be terribly modest. Yesterday it hit the New York Times bestseller list, so I'm really happy about that. And what you'll find are these principles are just so simple, like many of the principles that I've seen at this conference, but it's a radical shift. So the first principle is this. This is my beautiful wife who met me here, and our baby. The first principle is this. Your brain is involved in everything you do. Your brain's involved in how you think, how you feel, how you act, and how well you get along with other people. Your brain, I have come to believe, after looking at nearly 50,000 scans over the last 18 years, determines who you are. As a mother, the kind of mother you are has to do with brain function. Kind of friend, therapist, doctor, relates. Are you on time? Your frontal lobes probably work right. Are you the person that's always late, that can't get your paperwork done, that interrupts your patients before they finish a sentence? You probably have low frontal lobe function. The second principle is equally simple but more disturbing when you understand it, and that is when your brain works right, you work right. And when your brain has trouble, you have trouble in your life.